Again. All right, folks, we are here live for an instant day one reaction to the Olympics. Okay, here with Cornell Kevin. Cornell, Kevin, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
And hey, man, we had some big things happening today. Jaden Cox left his shoes on the mat.
He's done.
Jordan Burroughs goes down.
Yep.
There's a lot to talk about with Jordan Burroughs. Kevin, what are your initial overall thoughts here of day one?
Well, initially I really thought that he would get to Dake without a problem. But then when I watched him in the earlier rounds, my opinion changed. I was wondering if he would get by Messenbrink, which the score doesn't really tell you how close that match was.
I would agree with that, yeah.
And then Facundo, he was tough. He gave
5-3 to Facundo
Yeah.
with Burroughs. And I think people predicted that, but to see it actually happen in reality,
Yeah.
and that was kind of surprising. But
Facundo had the first takedown on him. I mean, it was.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, man. To me, it just looked like it was. We all know Jordan Burroughs, maybe the most accoladed United States wrestler of all time, right?
Yep.
It just looks like, to me, it looked like it was his last hurrah out there. He did not look like the normal, in his peak, Jordan Burroughs to me.
Yeah, you got to wonder. I mean, some of these guys, it looks like they weren't up for the challenge of the tournament almost. Like they kind of packed it in beforehand. And you got to wonder, how anxious was he to go wrestle Dake 2 out of 3? I'm not saying that he just wasn't trying to win, but, you just wonder the mind games of some of these guys, what goes on with them.
That, and I'll say this, man, the other overwhelming theme that I saw here, the youth. And we talked about it at Last Chance, but, I mean, at one point, there's Jax Forrest on one mat, there's Luke Lillendahl on the other, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And Jax Forrest takes Thomas Gilman to the edge. And why don't we kind of dive right into it? And we'll start with 57 here, but it was Jax Forrest. Who did he beat first round?
For Jack Forrest, he got first round. He had Cronin, and he teched
So he
him.
knocks off Cronin.
10-0.
10-0. Jax Forrest, which I didn't see that coming.
No.
I think Dad did, but and then to take Gilman 5-4. And
Yeah.
let me tell you something, dude. Jax Forrest is smooth.
He's
Dude.
tricky, and he is smooth, and he expected to win that match. Like,
He
he
did.
didn't go in there to. You see 5-4, and you're like, okay, did he just wrestle to make it close?
Yeah.
No, he got the first takedown, and he has a beautiful shuck by, and he expected to win that match. He was extremely disappointed when he lost it. It wasn't because he expected to win.
He did. And you know what? When I saw that, something that if you're watching on TV you didn't see. So when they came out, they announced 4 matches at a time, and they all come out at the same time. Thomas Gilman sprinted to the mat. In fact, he sprinted past Jax Forrest, who was just casually walking.
Yeah.
And I saw on Jax, he was just didn't affect him. And I thought, wow, dude, you could see Gilman trying to play some mind games there when Jax wasn't having it. And I thought, wow, man, this kid more mature
Can
than
you
his
imagine?
age.
Can you imagine being 17 years old and you're in that position and you're just cool as a cucumber? You're just
And correct me if I'm
unfazed.
wrong, they have to turn 18 this year to even be eligible
That's
within this
correct.
calendar year.
Yep.
So there's a couple 17-year-olds out there, folks,
Yeah.
who are doing things at an age that I'm not sure we've ever seen before.
Not in that quantity. I mean, it was every single one of them came to wrestle. There wasn't one of them that was just getting destroyed. It was every one of them were right there with the best.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you had Mirasola.
Oh, against Brooks, that was.
We go on, but before we move on, let's try to stay focused here. I said Spencer Lee was coming, dude. I had a feeling Spencer Lee was coming, and Spencer Lee is here, and Spencer Lee looks good, and he looks healthy.
He does. He does.
Is he finally healthy?
I think that his time is finally now, and he's sat. He was a 2-time cadet world champ and a junior world champ, but he has had no senior level action just about, and he's paid his time with the injuries, and
Paid
now
his dues.
we're gonna see the matchup that the people want to see.
That everyone wants to see. Spencer Lee and Thomas Gilman. It was Gilman knocking off Dayton Fix there, who knocked off Suriano to get there, but Yeah, it's what everyone wanted. Spencer Lee and Thomas Gelman.
Yep.
We have it tomorrow, folks.
We got the
Can't wait for that.
It's going to be awesome. We got the guy from Iowa that moved to Pennsylvania, and then the guy from Pennsylvania that went to Iowa. So should be a. But
The irony in that. Yeah,
it's-
go ahead and switch that.
It's going to be nuts. It's been wait. It's how long has it been waiting for? You know, people have been waiting for it.
We did have some matchups that we were looking forward to that, however, we didn't get. You know, aforementioned Jaden Cox. Too shady Jaden Cox left his shoes on the mat. We were
Yeah.
looking forward to him and Kyle Snyder, but what a career, Jaden Cox. But okay,
It's unbelievable.
we'll talk about it here. Let's move on to 65 here. It's Nick Lee in the finals up against Zane. Nick Lee with a nail-biter win over Alirez.
Yeah.
And I'll be frank, I kind of thought Alirez was going to win that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I was not surprised that match was that close. Were
No,
you?
not at all. I mean, especially, I'll tell you what. I mean, Nick Lee is so seasoned. I was wondering how that Gomez loss would affect him, you know. And I was thinking of two things. Is it going to lower his confidence, or is it going to give his opponents more confidence? You know, if this guy can be beat, you know. And he's looked so sharp. And these Penn State guys, I mean, they come ready. You know, it's not a surprise really.
Well, not all of them today. It was Alirez knocking off Bartlett, but
Yep.
I mean, we have to talk about Jesse Mendez though, dude, in
What a
this
tournament.
weight class. James Green, I mean, James Green did not leave his shoes on the mat, right?
No. James Green just got a new hip, and he's told everyone he feels better than ever. Everyone that's watched him says James Green is on.
A new hip?
A new hip, yeah. And he said that part of the problem with him making 65 in the past has been his hip has been so screwed up. He said he had a really good weight cut. He was down like a couple months ago. He was down to like walking around 152. So, you know, 143. It's no problem. He looked good. He didn't look like he was, you know, sucked out or anything. And he gave Mendez his best in 6-3, and that was after Mendez beat McKenna.
Mendez is a straight up dog, dude. I'm telling you right now, dude. Beats McKenna, beats Green, then beats
Yanni.
your boy.
Yanni.
Your boy, dude. Tell us what happened to Yanni there.
You know what? I don't know. I don't want to make any excuses for him. I think that I don't know what happened with after the concussion. Did he not practice for a while? But he was sucking wind against Larkin the match before, to the point where he had to gut that out. I give him credit because it was 8-8. He was down in criteria, and he was doing the pull the socks up, you know, he was sucking wind, and he pulled it out. He got the 4 points when he needed it. But I'll tell you what, 2 4-point moves by Mendez.
Yeah.
That was the difference.
Mendez is something else. And all of a sudden that Bartlett lost to Mendez, you're thinking, wow, it's not so crazy. And
he was with Zane too. Mendez was right there, you know, 3-2.
Yeah, he was. Yes,
I mean,
he was,
he-
dude.
he was-
Jesse
he was
Mendez
fighting.
is here, folks. Jesse Mendez. Remember the name. One thing I do have to say, my overall thoughts on Yanni. I watched Yanni in all his matches today, and I'll just say this, man. And we talk about how these wrestlers are peaking at a younger age.
Yeah.
He did not look, just not the same quickness. It just did not seem like the same Yanni to me, man. And I don't know if it's injuries, age, you know,
Maybe-
getting burned out. I don't know what it is, but he did not look the same to me.
No, I think that you know, I don't. Just an opinion. I'm wondering if he hit the ceiling with, you know, who he's training with and who's coaching him. Maybe he needs some outside help. You know, I don't want to see him go anywhere, but I'm saying it kind of seems like he's hit a wall. You know, and he's been so consistently good for so long. Like, you don't see anybody go out and tech him or anything ever. You know, but he doesn't seem to have that. It's hard to have that drive year round. You know?
Well, I'll say this, man. It's a fine line between good and great, and sometimes you might only lose 1 or 2 percentage points off your edge, but that's the difference between good and especially at this level. I
Yeah.
mean, if he's losing a fraction of a second on his takedown attempts,
Yeah,
dude,
you're right.
That is the difference, and I think we saw it. We saw a young, fast, strong Jesse Mendez. He was just, to me, dude, he was just faster than Yanni.
And think about the year improvement Mendez has made. Last year he was 6th at nationals at 133. He was 19-9. Fast forward to this year, 30-2, up a weight class, NCAA champion, and last year he wasn't even a thought on the senior level. And there he is in the Olympic trials semifinals, barely losing to Zane Rutherford.
3-2.
I
3-2
mean,
to Zane.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, the improvement he's made in 1 year, and he's tough. He was hand fighting with Zane, and Zane is a scrapper, you know.
I mean, let's say this, between Alirez and Mendez, both right there with Nick Lee and Zane.
Yeah.
Better make the most of this. Nittany Lion Wrestling Club there this year, because people are right on your heels.
I want to see that room. It's got to be unbelievable, because the people that we saw there today, it's like, who practices with who?
Nah, that's a great question. In fact, Downey mentioned how he doesn't have anyone to practice with. Yeah, that probably kind of matters.
Downey. Oh my gosh, that was funny.
Downey losing to Carter, but we'll get into
Yep,
it.
yep.
Folks, let's move on to 74 kilograms. It's late. It is obviously it's Jason Nolf there,
Yeah.
who's going to face Dake and who upset Burroughs. But before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit how we got there. It was Burroughs beating Facundo 5-3. Closer match. We mentioned it earlier. Closer than we kind of thought.
Yep.
You're the Cornell guy. What happened to Meyer Shapiro this tournament?
It was not pretty. And you know what? You could say, well, he's light. You know, he's light for the weight, whatever. But he's beaten Lockett. He beat Lockett at who's number one. He got third at NCAAs, and this is a high school kid. And he went out there, and it was just like Lockett was in on his legs all day. He looked very disinterested. He looked not motivated, and I don't know if he packed it in after the NCAA season and was like, you know, I'm light. I'm not going to compete with these guys. But it wasn't a good showing at all. I mean, he got teched by a high schooler and then teched by Quincy Monday in the Concies.
Not the Meyer Shapiro we expected to see.
It was very disappointing to see, but you know, what can these young guys maybe
disinterested?
Disinterested.
Yeah. I think they kind of hit the nail on the head. That's kind of what he looked like to
Yeah.
me. Because I've seen an interested Meyer Shapiro, and that wasn't him today out there.
NCAA's was an interested guy, you know, 6-1 with 2 pins, 2 majors, and a tech, and you know, and he was pumped. But here he was just, I don't know. It's tough to say what goes in some of the young guys' heads, you know. It's a tough sport.
To say. Yeah, you never know. But let's move on and talk about who might be my new favorite wrestler. I'm not even joking. Mitchell Messenbrink, and maybe one of the matches of the day, Mitchell Messenbrink and Burroughs. Now, Burroughs won it pretty – what was the final?
8-3.
8-3. I could make the argument it was closer than that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But before we even get into the details of the match, because I like talking about other stuff – Messenbrink has this little thing going, folks. I love it. Have you noticed, dude? He's got swag. He's got his own little toe tap thing he does before every match. Did you see? It's almost like a little Muhammad Ali, dude.
He's awesome.
Oh, I love it, dude.
He's awesome.
Thank you, Mitchell. Not to mention, as soon as the match starts, I mean, did you see at the end of the match, dude? He's lining up, and Burroughs didn't want to move to the other side.
Yeah.
They didn't move. Neither of them moved, dude. I thought, dude. Oh my goodness, dude! I mean,
he brings character and charisma, and like you said, swag.
And he does it the right way. So I don't know, he shows all the respect without showing the respect. Like he does it, like look, as soon as that match starts, he shows you all the utmost respect in the world. But the second that match starts, he don't care if you're Jordan Burroughs or nobody, dude. Like he is coming after you the exact same way every time. And I mean, he got under Jordan Burroughs' skin because Burroughs pushes his head down, dude, and the crowd is booing. The crowd erupts.
Oh, it was so loud, and you know what's funny is I see these seasons guys like David Carr, and now Jordan, right? And David Carr was interviewed, and he was saying how he goes, I didn't know what to think. Like I'm like, man, this guy really loves wrestling, because they was asked like, what was he saying to you and stuff, and he's chirping the whole match, but it's not like like you said, it's not something that you would hate on him for. He's having fun, but it's getting obnoxious for people, and he gets under people's.
He's smart about it.
He's so smart.
Yeah, and just fun to watch, man. Keep it going, Mitchell, dude. You are fun to watch. Any thoughts on Nolf? He went through Marinelli the Bull, Marinelli and Berger. That was.
Yeah, Nolf. You know, he had he was cruising along. You know what? I got to be honest with you. The guy that surprised me the most in this bracket was Jarrett Jacques.
Yeah.
I mean, who had him beating Vincenzo Joseph, and then after that he beats Quincy Monday 5-0, and with Nolf it was 4-2 late before Nolf started doing Nolf things, and you know, but what a hell of a tournament. No one expected that of him.
I didn't.
You know,
I did not. Yeah. In fact, my brackets I filled out. Throw those in the trash, folks, because my goodness.
Yeah, same with mine. Embarrassing.
But all right, let's move on. Folks, we're on the road. BEG on the road here. We're in a hotel.
Having a good time.
If you don't like us yelling, don't worry about it tonight because people are sleeping and it is late. But all right, here we go. Let's move on to 86 kilograms. It's Aaron Brooks, 7-6 over Valencia. Oh my goodness! And the late night match, Brooks over Valencia. And let me tell you something. Valencia looked good.
Yeah.
What that match with Valencia and Marsteller? Oh my goodness, dude! Valencia is just.
He showed up conditioned, you know.
Yeah, and he looked big too.
He is big and
he's tall, like just and smooth with it too. Like I know Marsteller he's short and stout, but dude, Valencia just made him look small out there.
Yeah, he was. And Brooks, he's so solid, you know. But I'll tell you what, Penn State has a lot to be excited about. Go figure. But
Mirasola
those twins
takes down Aaron Brooks. First time we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, he goes out there, he gets the first takedown, and he was just brawling with him, you know. And it's
again
it was
just
really
a sign
impressive.
of the youth that just no fear.
Yeah,
they show respect, but no fear.
He looks
no
like
fear.
He looks like a dog, man. He's just like he's a bear.
Yeah. I think things are coming out of him. It was Daringer beating Mark Hall to get there, but we got to talk about Carter Strachey, Pat Downey, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Pat Downey comes out and takes
fire, baby.
Takes a 4-0 lead, and you know what's going to happen, right? Because you're wondering, is Downey even practicing? Did he just wake up inside? You know what? I'm going to go out there and give it a try. And he had the tweet about I'm going to teach him some manners, and I'm like, here we go.
Here we go.
And I was just waiting for the cliff dive, you know. But it was impressive. He got the 4 points, but then it started snowballing on him, and then that led to.
I knew it was over as soon as he. Did he get injured, or was that a breather?
Yeah, his shoe came untied a lot, and then you hear this in the stands. Pat Downey, please report to Mat 2. This is your last and final call, or you will be scratched. And I'm like, yeah, he took off right after that match.
Oh, yeah. But Carter did come back to win that. But then Carter loses to Trent Hidlay. And I was anxious to see that matchup.
He did. It was good. I mean, he had a 174 and a 197 pounder.
I was just going to say, it was very evident that Hidlay was just a bigger man than Carter. But that was a close match, though. And Carter had a chance there, dude.
Yeah, he did. He wasn't, Hidlay had the underhook one time, and he drove him out of bounds. And I thought that would just be the match. He was just going to keep doing that. But then all of a sudden, Carter, he gets an underhook. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you don't just steamroll Carter.
I mean, no. And I think, this is bad timing for this tournament and this Olympics for Carter Strachey.
Yeah.
Coming off the knee, he's in between the weights. I mean, just unfortunate timing for Carter. Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of him in the future. The one other, it was Evan Wick over Max Dean.
Yep, by tech fall.
I think you called that, didn't you?
Yeah. And you had him. Yeah, we both talked about that because he's how much taller than Marsteller did he look? It was crazy. He looked like he was a foot taller.
Okay, yeah.
And he pinned Marsteller in NCAAs, but that was a long time ago. But that match was 5 or 6-0, but it was pretty close up until the end there.
6-0 Marsteller, but it was Evan Wick who looked good. But yeah, we got Brooks and David Taylor tomorrow.
Yep, best 2 out of 3. And it was kind of funny.
I had the pleasure of meeting David's father today.
Oh yeah.
In fact, yeah. Very
nice guy.
You can tell he's a lot smarter than I am. But
one thing I have to say about David Taylor real quick is funny. They were interviewing him, and they were like, "So, what were you? Were you surprised that Carter didn't make weight?" And he goes, "No."
Just brutal honesty.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll move on here to 97 kilograms. Big upset was Colin Moore over Jaden Cox.
Yeah.
And again, Touche to Jaden Cox. What a career.
Yeah.
But then Trumbull over Moore. Is that right?
Yeah. Trumbull by tech fall.
Machiavello goes down.
Yep.
Some upsets in this bracket that I don't think I necessarily saw coming. Nate Jackson losing to Colin Moore.
Yeah. Colin Moore. He's
Cassiope I picked to
by Carroll, and that was crazy because those are two big guys down at 97, and Carroll got him at the end. He was clutch.
That was at the very end. I
Yep.
do remember that. Cassiope had that whole match, and then, although I will say this, I watched Carroll at Last Chance. That boy's different too. I'm telling you right now.
How can you be that big at that age? He is
and
just
aggressive with it too.
He's just
like
he's an animal, man.
I don't want to run into him on a bad night in the streets. I'll tell you that.
And I'll tell you what, he was at heavyweight for junior worlds. And he didn't have the best tournament, but he looked just so outsized. But now that he's down to this weight, he looks so much more competitive, and he looks more comfortable, and he's able to use his strength. And he's going to be real tough.
Yeah,
in the
no, I
college
agree.
Season.
In fact, well, we'll have plenty of opportunities to talk about him in the upcoming years. But Colin Moore made a good run that I did not see coming, and also this Trumbull, man. Where did he come from, dude?
He's second seed, and he's been solid. He beat Schultz 7-3, and then he beat Aiello 6-4, but he beat up on Colin Moore pretty good. So he's going to have face off against Snyder in the best 2 out of 3,
yep.
and he's got some height on him. I think that it's probably not going to matter. But hey, you never know. You get guys at this level that go through this bracket, they have to be respected.
Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy too, and they are doing wrestlebacks in this tournament, which is kind of
interesting.
They do it because the top 3 get on the national team, and what that means is they get to practice at like the Olympic Center, and then if the one guy goes down, the other guy moves up, and that's to some guys that are younger or some guys that haven't made a team yet. That's pretty important too. But some of these guys, when their dreams are crushed, it's just like, get me out of here.
Oh,
it just
yeah.
kind of depends.
Well, if you're a former world champ or Olympic medalist, you're not coming here for that. But and finally, folks, let's move on to 125. Greg Kerkvliet. I think everyone's pick to win this goes down, dude.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I've been watching Gwiz for a while, and he's in the Cornell room now. He's an assistant coach there, and I kind of wondered if he hit that wall where I was like, are his best days behind him? That's kind of what my thought was. And
I would have thought that. Yeah, I would have agreed.
Yeah. I didn't really expect him to. I was wondering if he was going to get past Smith, to be honest with you, and he tech-falled him. I'm like, all right, he looks pretty good. And then Kerkvliet, he wrestled really smart. Pretty much controlled the match 5-1.
It looked to me, Kirk had trouble with his weight, handling Gwiz's weight.
Gwiz is a big boy.
He's a big boy, dude. And yeah, that was definitely surprising, man.
Greg is so young, and Gwiz has been around the block for a long time. So Greg will get there, but I'm still surprised. And Zilmer, he just wins. Like these two actually wrestled in the Final X a couple years back. Zilmer was hurt last year, and Gwiz was up 1-0, and then he was up 8-0 in the second match. He ends up losing, and then he ends up losing the next match. So he was 2 points away from making the team, and then Zilmer beats him again 5-1. So Zilmer goes 2 out of 3 with Mason Paris.
My goodness. Zilmer, who went through Don Bradley, who literally threw Wyatt Hendrickson almost out of the arena.
Don Bradley is like the ageless wonder. I mean, people talk about Kyle Dake getting younger. This guy, is this like his 43rd trials? Like what?
And he's still throwing Wyatt, Captain America, Hendrickson off the mats, dude. Did you see it?
I missed it. All I heard was a real loud noise, and I see Wyatt climbing up
climbing back up onto the mats.
Yeah.
I thought, I said, there's no way that's Wyatt Hendrickson who just got tossed.
And then he comes in and he does a takedown right away.
Yeah,
These guys are tough, man. These guys are tough. But I can't remember that match they always show on Flow with Don Bradley, like runs the guy into the table and Ben always laughs. That's what it reminded me of. Don Bradley's just
Don Bradley, dude. Oh, that was fun to
about
watch.
Seasoned. That guy is well seasoned.
Okay, does Zilmer have a chance against Paris?
Yeah. Zilmer's small, I feel like, for the weight. But, again, a guy that he beat Gwiz 5-1. That's how I feel like Paris would beat Gwiz. Maybe like around 5-1, maybe a little bit more, just from what I've seen today out of Gwiz. I think I definitely give the advantage to Paris, but Zillmer's crafty, and he's a winner, and I would predict Mason probably in 2, but
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be blowouts.
I would agree.
Yeah.
All right. What are your most anticipated matchups tomorrow that you're looking forward to?
I got to go Gilman and Spencer because
Absolutely.
it's
Top
one
3
of those.
one right there. Spencer Lee, Thomas Gilman, folks. Happening tomorrow.
Finally. And
Wow.
it's like the Matrix has stopped it. All these times, like we couldn't see Shapiro and Messenbrick. We couldn't, we didn't see O'Toole and Messenbrink. It stops these. And this is one I always thought, I'm like, something's going to happen. We're not going to see him.
Yeah.
And we get to see him, and I'm pumped. And, all the matches are going to be great. But I do think that the 3 guys that had the buys to the finals, who had to make weight today, which is interesting, Dake, Snyder, and Taylor, all had to make weight today, even though they
That
didn't
is
wrestle.
interesting.
Then
Yeah.
they make weight tomorrow. But I feel like those 3 guys, I think they're good to go. I feel like
My second most Brooks Taylor.
yeah, it's tough to say. I think that I give it to Taylor. I think Taylor 2 matches to nothing. But do I think he's going to go out and tech him twice? No.
I think he goes 3 matches.
Do you?
I
It
really
very
do.
well
Man.
could. It very well could.
Although, let's be honest, man, Brooks, we saw some chinks in the armor today with Brooks because not only did Mirasola take him down, who do you have the next match he got taken down? And all of a sudden, that match was Brooks did not dominate that match.
Yep. No, you're
And
right.
I can't remember who that was up against, but for
Oh,
a
it
second,
was Ringer.
I thought, is Brooks going to lose this match, dude?
And to touch base on that Ringer match, I know there's a lot of chat going on. It was 4-0 Ringer, and then all of a sudden, Brooks has his leg up in the air. And from the angle I could see, and I was right up by the mat, Ringer pinched down, and it looked like he initiated the move, right? They reviewed it, though, because right away Ringer looked up at his coach. He's like, throw the brick.
Yep.
They reviewed it, and not only did they stick with the 4, but then it was a point for Brooks as well. Now, listen, honestly, even if that was not what it was, Brooks then was just takedown. He's just kind of, but Ringer did a heck of a job.
But it's chinks in the armor with
Yeah,
Brooks
yeah,
all of a
yeah,
sudden
there's-
that we have not seen.
Yeah, he definitely, the talent level is so high. It's so hard to just be so dominant. But then you wonder, what does Taylor do in this bracket? Does Taylor give up any points? Who knows?
It's true.
But yeah.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Any other final thoughts? Colton Schultz won Man of the Year. I think this is based on charitable work that you do.
Oh, good for him.
Adeline Gray, Woman of the Year.
That's awesome.
And I have officially awarded the coolest wrestling name of the year to Kennedy Blades.
Yeah.
Is that not the coolest name?
Yeah.
Not to mention she's pretty good, folks. Go watch Kennedy Blades.
You know what? She got the crowd going.
Yeah, she did with
She
a
was-
throw.
Yeah, tossing. She's
A woman's
explosive.
throw. Yeah. The crowd oohed and awed when that happened, for sure. That happened right in front of me. But
Let me ask you this. What do you think about Knopf and Dake? Because the first time they wrestled, we knew what happened. It was the Dake bomb, and he just crumbled. Then the second time around, it was tight. And that was the same year that Knopf was 2-0 with Burroughs, and he only lost to Dake by a point or two. And then Dake went over to LWC, and they wrestled again, and it was like Knopf wasn't as offensive as usual. He kind of and listen, it's Kyle Dake. His defense is crazy. It's not like I'm saying, oh, he should have scored on it. But it looked like he was kind of a little more conservative. And I think it was 6-0, 1 score. I'm wondering what the match is going to look like this time.
well, I'll say this. I'm going to predict Nolf takes it in 3. And before you say you're absolutely crazy, well, if I would have told you before today, Burroughs loses,
Yeah, you
Jaden
can't-
Cox loses, Thomas Gilman is taken to the wire by a 17-year-old. Yeah, you would have probably said I'm crazy.
I have
then,
no
too.
right to call anybody crazy after my picks.
I mean, but yeah, I can't wait. I was gonna say that's probably my 3rd most anticipated match tomorrow. But
Yeah, I mean Lee and Zane. it's going to be a tough match. It reminds me of like Zayn and Zayn Jr. kind of. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
that's the way they look and stuff. It's just, I don't know.
I
Zayn-
need more of a rival. I wish it wasn't two Penn Staters going. Any other school, any opposite
I
schools, then you
know.
get a rivalry going there.
And I wish I knew how Zayn's weight cut went, because whoever wins 57 between Gilman and Spencer, and whoever wins 65 between Zayn and Lee has to go next month to qualify the weight still. So, I mean,
And
this
place
is
top three.
top
in
three.
Turkey.
Yep. It used to be 2, it's 3 now. And that tournament, it's not the Pan Ams, okay? The Pan Ams is like the Matt Town Open compared to Last Chance being like CKLV. Like, there's a big difference. There's a lot of tough guys that are going, but I like our guys. I think they definitely can do it. But I'm wondering, Zayn, we'll see how tomorrow goes. If Zayn's looking good, because today he weighed in early today, and then he had all that time to recoup. Tomorrow is going to be a weigh-in, and then he's wrestling right away, a couple
true.
hours. So
Yeah.
we'll see
Yeah.
how it looks.
We get to see Spencer Lee tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, bold prediction for tomorrow. Well, just one. I'm taking Nolf over Dake.
Wow. Yeah, that's.
I put you on the spot, man.
Yeah, you did.
Really bring this home for us.
I'm gonna say
strong.
that. Yeah, I'm gonna say Zilmer takes a match from Mason. I don't know. It's not too bold, but I mean, I could say I think Spencer is gonna beat Gilman. But that's not really a.
How cool is it going to be to have Spencer Lee on our Olympic team? Who saw that coming? Dude?
I'm happy for him, because it had to have been frustrating these past years. Like, how good he is at freestyle, and he's watching guys he thinks he can be. Kind of like, it was a shame not seeing Vito there, and I know it was frustrating for him. But it's got to be. But Spencer, he doesn't cut a lot of weight, as far as I know, to make that weight. So that's good for us. And I think there's no reason that Spencer can't be a world champion.
I don't think there's any reason at all. In fact, the way he's looked recently, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
And I like how he wrestled both those tournaments earlier, where he only had to do one, and he wrestled both of them.
Yep.
And
dude,
I'm happy
it's like
for him.
he got the perfectionist out of his system. Stop trying to be perfect.
Yeah.
And remember, you just got to be a dog, dude.
Yeah.
Just go out there and get it, dude.
Yeah.
And he's going back into that mentality. So
And he looks confident in his movement, where
That's
he's
what
not
I
like
mean. Yep.
favoring the knee at all. So
Yep.
it's good to see.
He looks healthy.
You want to see the guys healthy.
looks healthy. So, All right, man. We got to get some sleep, folks.
Yeah.
Wrestling starts back up in about 10 hours, 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Yep.
And Kevin, thank you for
thanks
coming
for
on,
having me
man.
on.
And folks, thanks for
My
watching.
pleasure.
You're going to get more BEG reaction tomorrow or the next day. Who knows? But all right. Thanks for watching, folks.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.